And new at noon, police arrested 5 suspected members of a motorcycle club after a deadly shooting in southern Indiana. Jason Brewer, Michael Carnuth, David Faulkner, and Gary Fletcher are charged with several crimes, including murder and criminal gang enhancement. Investigators say the group went to a house in DuPont on June 22nd to beat up a man and steal from him for allegedly having patches and tattoos of their club without being a member. But that man was armed, and a shootout killed Dustin Linder, who arrived with the group. A 5th person, Jordan Lowe, is also charged, but not with murder. Investigators believe the suspects are part of the Pagans and the Warlocks motorcycle club. When police say a shooting is not life-threatening, that does not mean it is not life-changing, and that is definitely true for a 12-year-old boy. He is still in the hospital right now after a stray bullet came into his Okolona apartment. WLKY's Shaquille Lord spoke exclusively to the boy's father.
Shaquille Lord, WLKY News.
Hoping for a speedy recovery there, and no one has been arrested at last check in connection to that shooting. Residents in West Louisville held a meeting Tuesday night. They're demanding transparency from their elected officials over tax increment financing. You may know it as TIF. Residents are concerned that they did not have a seat at the table before leaders in Frankfort and Louisville presented their plan for the West End Opportunity Partnership, and that was back in February. A new TIF district would allow the city to divert future property tax revenue to help pay for projects in West Louisville. It's designed to kickstart economic development and quality of life while also keeping it affordable for current homeowners. Well, concern is rising over the rapid spread of the Delta variant of COVID-19. LA counties now strongly recommend people wear masks indoors in public, and that's even if you are fully vaccinated. Health officials warn the highly contagious variant is rising all around the U.S. The CDC estimates it now accounts for about 20% of all of the new cases. In Arkansas, where only around 1/3 of the population has been fully vaccinated, one hospital reopened its designated COVID-19 unit to handle the skyrocketing number of cases. Well, hey there, and thanks for joining us on WLKY this afternoon. There is another hot day in store for us today, coming off the hottest day so far of the year. But we'll also be dealing with some rain. Let's get over to meteorologist Mo Rose, who has even some incredible photos to show us.
Yes, I did not take this, so I can't take credit, but Mark Lamparetta just sent this to us. Thanks, Marvis. Back to you.
Mo, thank you. And Mayor Greg Fisher testified today in a case related to Breonna Taylor's death. Tuesday, the Police Merit Board decided to allow Mayor Fisher's testimony during a hearing for former LMPD detective Joshua Janes. Janes is appealing his termination after he was accused of lying to obtain the no-knock search warrant for Taylor's apartment. His attorney, Thomas Clay, says Janes was just relying on information he was given by another officer, Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly. At yesterday's hearing, Clay repeatedly questioned former interim police chief Yvette Gentry about whether Mayor Fisher had pressured her to fire Janes.
I think he got a lot of pressure from a lot of ends, mainly the community, people in the community. They wanted all the officers terminated immediately.
Okay, well, was the mayor saying that, just fire them all?
I don't think the mayor said that. He didn't do that.
Well, I'm asking you, ma'am, specifically, if you
I never heard the mayor say that.
Well, another law enforcement expert testified it is common for detectives to rely on information from other officers when obtaining search warrants. City leaders are offering more details on how they plan to reimagine public safety with the money in next year's budget. That budget passed last week by the Metro Council nearly quadruples the funding set aside for violence prevention efforts. The Office of Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods will use it to expand violence intervention and other community outreach efforts. The budget also sets aside $5 million to EMS for a program that would reroute some calls away from police.
Have in policing become the front line of social work as well. And it, quite frankly, is not a space that we need to or want to lead in.
So we as a government and as a society have to take more responsibility for creating the conditions necessary for public safety in every neighborhood.
The budget also gives money to LMPD to purchase more cameras, gunshot detectors, and license plate readers. The new fiscal year starts on Thursday. And people living in West Louisville are demanding transparency over a plan which helps pay for economic developments in that area. They're worried they did not have a seat at the table before state and city leaders presented their plan for the West End Opportunity Partnership. WLKY's Stefan Dingle has a look at the meeting Tuesday and tells us why people feel skeptical and left out. And I see our floor director, Rebecca, looking at me. And Mo, I have to admit, I have never seen any of the Harry Potters or read them.
Blasphemy. Oh my, I think she might have just had a heart attack on the floor.
Pick her up off the floor.
We're going to need to do a well check on her after the weather. Yeah.